welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are using all Clay Spann Cosmetics to create this simple everyday look that you can wear whether you're going to church, out with your girlfriends, or even just to Target. I like a look like this so that way I still look like I put in effort and I'm done, but I'm not like pageant done. And there's totally a difference. This look takes about 30 minutes. It's super quick, and we're gonna go by step to teach you guys exactly how to recreate this look. It's super simple, and it can be worn for a mom, it can be worn for a pageant competitor, a pageant queen, or even just a teenage girl who's trying to figure out this whole makeup thing, because let's be honest, we're all still trying to figure it out. So if you're interested in creating this look, then go ahead and keep watching. So as you guys can see, my skin does not match my face. That's because I do not tan my face. I'm already aging as it is. I don't want to make that any worse. But I also want to show you the different products that I start off with before I actually put on my makeup. I just received this one in a PR package. It's the Dr. Brandt Microdermabrasion Age-Defying Exfoliator. It says renews skin, radiance, polishes and smooths, help diminishes the look of fine lines. I would 100% agree with this. I've been using it about a month-ish, and I have seen results. This is not one I would recommend for every day because it will tear up your skin. It suggests 1 to 2 times per week, allowing 3 days in between. I think that's pretty accurate. Unless you have really bad skin, that would be my suggestion with that as well. And then this is my Kate Somerville Goat Milk Moisturizing Cream. It's my absolute favorite one out there on the market right now. I like to put it on about 30 to 45 minutes before I do my makeup, so that way it has complete time to sink in and actually do what it needs to do before I go pounding the makeup on. So let me go ahead and pull up my hair. So I was inspired to do this look because I love YouTube and I love watching YouTube videos, but I feel like a lot of them are super in-depth, and not everyone needs like a full face of makeup and a full like 10 different colors on their eyes or any of that. So I felt like there needed to be another resource for young women who just want to know how to do their makeup well, and then using my favorite product line, Clay Spann Cosmetics. Is it just me, or when y'all put your bun up, do you ever feel like everyone else gets it right on the first try, and then you look at yours and then you're like, no, mine did not end up right on the first try. But you know what? Today we're gonna make it work. It's just gonna happen today. So before I get started, I do want to try out this new one. It's the Pore Perfecting Face Primer by Clay Spann Cosmetics. I have never used this specific one, so I'm really excited to try it out. There is a little bit of color to it, and it's super smooth. My skin is having one of those weeks where it just kind of like, you know, breaks out and does whatever it wants to do. Is that just me? I can't be the only one that has rebel and rogue skin like that. Okay, my biggest thing when I'm putting on primer, I want to get it right here and right here in my T-zone as well, because this is where I have all the issues. Right out here, no real issues. It's right here and right here that are the big problem areas for me and where I see the most pores on my skin. As you guys can see, I have pretty bad dark circles, and if it doesn't look like it, it's a fib, and it's the camera lying to you. I do have really bad dark circles under my eyes. I've been working on getting more sleep. Not really working out well for me. So I'm going to start off with this Clay Spann corrector. It's for sensitive skin, and this is an orange color that's actually going to cancel out the purple underneath my eyes that comes from, you know, not sleeping. And I'm using this Morphe brush. It's a G24, and putting it right there on my under eye. Being very gentle because this is the most sensitive area on your face, and we don't need to make the situation any worse. All right, and then to blend this out, I'm going to use the L'Oreal sponge. This one is honestly dying. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a really hard time finding them in stores right now. This is a total dupe for the Beauty Blender, and I really like it, and I think it's way better than spending that much money on a product that's going to die anyways. And I feel like I can never get mine clean. I've used a ton of different solutions, and I just feel like it never 100% gets clean. Again, maybe an Amanda thing. Okay, so that's all blended out, and then we're gonna start off with the foundation. I have two, I have two colors. This is Olive Glow and Golden Olive. Honestly, there's not that much of a difference. I'm gonna show you, see if we can get the camera to pick it up a little bit. One is just slightly darker. You can tell that I've used this one more. You know what, I'm gonna go with what I usually use just because I know how it works and I know it blends with my skin really well. You have a couple of different options for actually putting on the foundation, and it's totally up to you. I'll do it to where one side is with a brush and one side is with spun. This side is gonna be brushed, so we'll start with that. And I just dip my brush. This is one of the Real Techniques brush. It's the orange color, if that means anything to you. And I'm just gonna start putting it right there on my face. I feel like it blends out fairly well with the brush and with the sponge, but this is just so you get both looks. It's full coverage and there's not a lot of need for a ton of product. So you're gonna get a good bang for your buck with it because you can use it like just a tiny little bit, and I covered one side of my face pretty much completely. See, you can see here, like, because I put that orange corrector on, there's not even as much of a need for the concealer, which is nice because it takes a step out of the process. So for this one, this side where I'm just gonna use the sponge, we're gonna mix it around, get a good amount on the sponge, and go to town. You want to make sure to get right here as well, because there's really nothing that bothers me more than when people don't get right in the spot and then all of a sudden they're really pale right there. Especially for people like me who don't like to tan their face. Okay, so you can't really tell much of a difference, but you can see that the rosacea that I show pretty much all the time does not show at all with this foundation, which is something that I really appreciate because it's great for photos or when I'm out doing Miss International events. So now that it's on, I'm just gonna blend it out a little bit with my Beauty Blender. I like this because I feel like it presses it into the skin more and makes it look like it actually is my skin, and my skin's just flawless, which it's not. Just blends it out really nicely. Voila! And now our foundation is done. Praise God. Something I really appreciate about his concealers is that a little bit goes a long way. This is in the color Ivory, and what I love, you can just go in a little bit like this. Obviously, this concealer also gives a highlighted effect. So again, 2 for 1. And it is a little bit more full coverage and heavy, so you just have to be very light-handed with it, because otherwise you're gonna have way too much product, A, that you're wasting, and B, that you don't know how to blend out. I say that from experience. I am no Clay Spann when it comes to that. And then we're gonna use a Beauty Blender and just blend that puppy out. Blend it good. This is the part when Brandon comes in and I'm doing my makeup. He's like, you kind of look like you belong in a tribe. That's okay. But what is going on right now? I'm also gonna go ahead and bring this onto my eye as well, just so that it evens out my eyes. I have little veins that pop out of my eyes, not like in a creepy way, but in the we all have them way. When I use this concealer on my eyes as well, it just cancels it out, which makes it easier in the long run, and you don't have to put as much of the base of eyeshadow onto it. Okay, and I'm gonna blend out right here along my nose. Okay. Once I blended out all of my concealer, I'm going to go in with one of his loose powders. This is in the color True Beige. I'm going to use my Beauty Blender again carefully because this is a really loose powder. We're going to put it right here on the Beauty Blender and tap it right on the eye and right on the under eye so that we can go ahead and bake that, creating the highlighted look that we want. I like to do this because if it does get a little like dark with my eyeshadows, this is simple, and that way all I have to do is brush it away instead of trying to, you know, fix a mess that happens from dark eyeshadow. And you know, don't stress it. There's like no science to this part. It doesn't have to look perfect. It's just powder. You guys may see it on Instagram where there's those people that get those perfectly fine and wonderful lines. I'm not one of those. I just need to get it to work. This is also going to set the powder up here, so that way you don't get any kind of fine lines or creases, because nobody likes creases. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I have this one. There we go. Okay. And I'm also going to put a little bit right on my nose. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit bigger brush. This is Mr. Right. And it's literally my favorite powder brush. And I'm just going to loosely put it on my skin, so that way it sets the foundation. There are a few things that annoy Brandon more than when I'm wearing makeup and then I go to give him a hug and then all of a sudden he's wearing makeup too and it's all over his clothes. Whoops! We're just going to brush it all over. Okay, now we're going to start off with our eyes. One of my favorite things to do is to set the entire eye with a little bit of a lighter shade, and I have all of my Clay Spann eyeshadows in one little beautiful kit, and it's absolutely my favorite way to keep them, and I just have them right here. Look how beautiful they are. You can obviously tell like which ones I use literally all the time. But first we're going to start off and set the entire eye with this one, and this is called Vanilla Shake. I do love these because I feel like they're very pigmented and last a long time. I don't have any issues with creasing at all. So we're going to start off with Vanilla Shake, and we're just going to set the entire eye with it. Again, we're going for a very like natural look today. Nothing super heavy for pageants or for life. Just natural, something that anyone could do for any day of their life, or a cute date, or if you're meeting like someone's parents. Nothing fancy, nothing overwhelming, just simple, which is what I love to do. If you guys know me, like when I competed at Miss International, I was so passionate about keeping everything simple. And even now our sponsors are like, have fun with your clothes. And I'm like, no, I don't have fun with my clothes. I like simple and I like timeless. And this is also kind of the makeup look that I go for, whether I'm going out with Brandon or going to a Miss International appearance. It stays pretty simple all the time. Okay, I'm going to bring you guys in a little bit closer because this is the eyes. As you can see, it's just a really sweet shade. And it's a nice neutral that sets the entire eye. I'm going to keep you guys really tight for the eyes from now on because I just feel like you can see it better. And sometimes when I watch YouTubers, I'm like, I can't even see what you're doing right now and I look terrible. No. So we're going to come in just a little bit closer so you guys can see it. And now as a transition shade, I'm going to use this MAC Fluffy brush. It's number 224. And then the Clay Spann shade in Toast. Just dip that in there. And this is going to go right in that crease very lightly. And I'm not going to drag it all the way in just because I have very small eyes, like really small eyes, and I don't like to make them look any smaller than they already are, and sometimes when I bring it all the way in, I have that issue. So for this simple look, we're just going to keep it right here. I would say about halfway through. There we go. Okay, so now that that's packed on, I'm going to blend it out some, so that there's not that harsh line of like, okay, well, there is our transition shade. There we go. Now it's completely blended out. And again, because it is a simple look, we're only going to do one more color right here in the corner of the eyes. So that way it keeps them open, bright, but yet still very defined. To do right here in the corner of the eye, I'm going to use a pencil brush, and this is MAC 219. And I'm using that in conjunction with Cocoa by Clay Spann Cosmetics. Tap off any excess. And this is going right here just in the corner. And we're just packing that on. Definitely not crossing the middle of the eye because that will actually close it up a little bit. And since the whole point was to keep it open, not going to do that. looks kind of crazy right now, so let's blend it out. We're gonna use that MAC 224 again. And right now I'm just trying to blend in the cocoa with the toast. Cocoa and toast sounds really good. Okay, now we have our eye look that we're going for. Super simple, but yet still bright, and the eyes are defined. For the eyebrows, I'm going to be using his brow definer in dark brown. It says to apply with an angle brush. I was sent this one in a PR package quite some time ago. This is Luxie 215 and just a small angle brush. Now this is a very large amount of eyebrow filler, so we don't need this whole thing to be on our eye. We're just going to be very light and gentle with it. Going with a brush, just putting a little bit on there. Again, tapping off any extra. Sometimes the brows get a little bit heavy, so I just go back in with this kind of brow brush, and that's going to distribute the product a little bit better and make sure that it doesn't look like my eyebrows are like, you know, glued on. Now that our brows are done and the eye is for the most part done, we're going to go ahead and just brush away any sort of baking that is left. Serves its purpose. Our eyes didn't get that dark today, but when they do, this is going to end up saving a lot of time because you don't want to have the fallout from any product right there under your eye because it's not very cute at all. Now for the under eyes, I personally don't like to use eyeliner under there. We're actually going to use the pencil brush that we used earlier. Bajum. And I'm going to use a different shade from Clay Spann under my eyes, just because this one has a little bit of shimmer, and I feel like right under the eyes, that shimmer actually helps make them pop a little bit more. We're putting a little bit on there. This is in the shade Bronze Beauty. And we're keeping this very light because we don't want it to look like, wow, she's got eyeshadow under her eyes. We want something a little bit more light, a little bit more simple, only to accentuate the eyes, not take away. Okay, there we go. Because we're going for a little bit more simple today, I'm not going to line my eye. I'm going to line the upper waterline of my eye so that way it has more space and it's more bright. Again, very simple and something that anyone can do. Don't freak out, but I'm not going to put this part on camera because it looks kind of creepy, so 1 second. To line that upper waterline, I did use the color Jet Black from his eye pencils. So as you can see, the lining actually adds just a little bit of definition without it taking away from the overall look. Something that's really wonderful about his mascara is that it does separate the lashes really, really well. And the shade is like very black. It's not one of those grayish blacks, it is black black. There's the top lashes, let's add bottom. Shazam. Okay, eyes are now completely done. I love this because I feel like these colors really make my green eyes stand out a little bit more. We're gonna move on to the actual face makeup. This is his bronzer, and this is called Tanny Powder in Matte Bronze. This is life. If there is any product that I say every girl must have of his, besides Heather, the lip gloss we're gonna use, this is amazing because it can be used as both a bronzer and a contour color. Love it. To apply the bronzer, we're going to use another MAC brush, and this is MAC 137. You can tell that I probably need to clean it a little bit. And we're going to put it right here in the cheek area. Starting right here at the tip of our ear and just going forward. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're not going for a sculpted contour. We just want the look of it and to bronze it up a little bit. bringing it to our forehead. And when I'm doing the forehead, I just kind of squeeze the brush a little bit more because I don't want my entire forehead contoured. I only want a little bit bronze. And then I'm also going to put it under my chin. Okay, now let's put some blush on. I'm going to go back to my little palette here. We're going to go in with a very light, kind of dusty color. The camera is not picking it up too perfectly. There we go, camera. Yes, honey, yes. Okay, this is the color Bouquet. And I actually just got a new powder brush, so we're going to try it out first time on camera. This could go south real quick. Let's find out. This is e.l.f. I got it at Walgreens. I went in to get toothpaste. I came out with a blush brush and not toothpaste because that's typically how life works for me. We're just going to put a little bit right here on the brush and then apply it. There we go. Yes! I love this. Oh, I love this. Yes. Okay, this blush brush, it's like $4 from e.l.f. 100% suggest. It's really pretty. And the Bouquet color by Clay Spann is like obviously beautiful. Now taking a step further, if you are interested in contouring your nose, you can go back in with this and just squeeze it like we did for the forehead and put it right there on the sides of your nose. Now time for the lips, which is one of my favorite parts because I have a lip gloss that is my absolute favorite from Clay Spann Cosmetics, and I'm trying to convince him to rename it to be Amanda instead of Heather. So if you are on the rename Heather movement train, go ahead, comment down below. Help me convince Clay that he needs to rename this into Amanda instead of Heather. I do have a cousin named Heather, so I do feel slightly connected to it, but nonetheless, Heather's my absolute favorite. For lip liner with Heather, here she is. Here's Heather. And then we're going to use the Whisper lip liner. I like to bring the Whisper just a little bit more towards the inner lip. The lip color will also blend in right with that. And here she is. Here's Heather. I feel like Heather and Whisper go really well together. And by Heather, I mean the future Amanda. There we go! Okay, so I'm gonna go fix my hair and I will be right back and we will finish this up. And this does complete the look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love Clay Spann Cosmetics so much. One, because I really adore the person that created them, Clay Spann. And two, because it's a long-lasting product that's reliable and it's a great bang for the buck. Because I know that I can use this in my personal life or in my professional life as Miss International or when I'm coaching pageant girls. It does create any kind of look that you want. And speaking of which, if you guys are interested in me doing more of a glamorous look instead of this kind of simple everyday, let me know in the comments down below and that's something that I can get filmed for you guys. But I so appreciate you watching this. This is like my first one just like this where it's kind of like makeup and I'm doing reviews and talking a little bit more about a full face of makeup and how to do it. So I really appreciate you guys being so supportive on social media and allowing me to live out my dreams. If you have any questions or if you have any feedback on Clay Spann Cosmetics that you've worn, go ahead, comment down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.